everyone, Bob from Sentry Tire, and today we're going to be covering how to measure your loader wheels when ordering new tires. Now, we offer many different sizes to ensure wide compatibility with any loader, but you'll have to provide accurate wheel measurements to order the correct replacement tire. Now, there are two types of wheels that the loader may use, a 3-piece wheel or a 5-piece wheel. The process for the majority of the measurements will be the same, but there are some key differences which we will discuss later. For now, let's determine which wheel type is on your loader. Now, a 3-piece wheel includes flange, sleeve, and lock ring all attached together. And a 5-piece wheel will have 2 flanges, a sleeve, a lock ring, and base, which comes as separate parts. Now, a good rule of thumb is that if the base has a flange built in, it's a 3, and if it doesn't, it's a 5. We recommend both a measuring tape and a digital caliper to ensure accurate measurement for this process. When using a measuring tape, the end of the bracket may move around, making it difficult to get a precise measurement. For this reason, we recommend that you hold the tape at the 10-inch mark, folding it if necessary for positioning, and start your measurement from there. Just be sure to subtract 10 inches from the final measurement to get that true distance. It's important that the accuracy of your measurement be within 1/16 of an inch. Before you start measuring, be sure to print out the wheel measurement form provided by Sentry Tire. This will help keep everything organized and standardized to avoid any confusion. There are a total of 7 measurements needed to get an accurate fit on the wheel: the pilot hole diameter, the bolt circle distance, the bolt hole diameter, the dish thickness, dish offset, base width, and the number of bolt holes. Let's break it down step by step. A pilot hole is the large circle in the middle of the wheel. To measure the diameter, pick 2 bolt holes that are directly across from one another. Use these as a guide to ensure you're measuring the center of the pilot hole. Measure from the inside edge of the pilot hole across to the other side. The bolt circle distance measures the distance between the center points on 2 opposite bolt holes. Since it's difficult to get an exact estimate of the center point on these holes, measure from the near side of one hole to the far side of the opposite. This will average out to represent the center points of both. Count the number of bolt holes that appear on the dish. If the bolt holes are evenly spaced, write that number down on the form. If the bolt holes are grouped in even sections, add a hole for each space between the groups. On the form, write both the original number of holes as well as the adjusted number. Formatting should be number of actual holes on adjusted number of hole spaces. For example, this would be written as 18 holes on 24 spaces. The bolt hole diameter is taken on one single bolt hole. We recommend using the caliper here to get the most accurate measurement. Now, make sure you measure across the hole as close to the middle as possible. On this step, note whether bolt holes are tapered/chamfered or flat. The dish thickness can be measured from the interior of the pilot hole. The base width measures the distance between the flange and the groove of the locking ring. The end of the tape measure can be placed directly against the flange and held vertically to the groove of the locking ring. If there is more than one groove near the locking ring, please use the largest. Now, here is where the 5-piece wheel differs slightly from the 3-piece wheel, since it does not have the flange connected. To measure the base width on a 5-piece wheel, instead of pressing the tape to the flange, estimate where the flange would be if it were connected. Then take the measurement at the groove as before. The dish offset is measured from the base of the dish to the edge of the rim. On many wheels, the measuring tape can be placed directly on the dish and measured against the edge of the rim. For some wheels that have a curved dish, place a piece of wood, ruler, or other straight edge across the wheel. Place the measuring tape against the dish near the bolt holes or the pilot hole and measure up to the straight edge. If your wheel looks different than examples given or hole spacing is completely uneven, contact Sentry Tire for instructions on measuring for specific tire fitment. That's it. Now you've taken all the measurements and recorded them on the form. Make sure you also include your machine's make and model, which will help us deliver you the correct product. The last step is to scan that form and email it to info@sentrytire.com. We'll get back to you shortly with an update on your order. Now, thank you for being a valued Sentry Tire customer.